Before she was known as Elizabeth I, Queen of England, she was simply Elizabeth Tudor, a child born into danger, politics, and uncertainty. She entered the world on September 7, 1533, the daughter of King Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. England waited eagerly for a son. Instead, they received a red-haired baby girl. The bells rang, but quietly. From her first breath, Elizabeth's life was marked by disappointment and controversy. Just 3 years later, her world collapsed. Her mother, Anne Boleyn, was arrested, accused of treason, and executed. Elizabeth was declared illegitimate, stripped of her title as princess, and removed from the royal line. She was not even 3 years old. From that moment on, Elizabeth learned a harsh lesson: royal blood did not guarantee safety. A childhood of shadows. Elizabeth grew up moving between households, always watched, always judged. Her father married again, and again, 6 wives in total. Some were kind, others distant, and all were temporary. Yet Elizabeth thrived where few expected. She received an extraordinary education, studying Latin, Greek, French, Italian, philosophy, history, and theology. She learned how to speak carefully, think critically, and, most importantly, remain silent when silence meant survival. When her father died, her half-brother Edward VI became king. Elizabeth was safe, for a time. But after Edward's early death, the crown passed to her half-sister Mary I, a devout Catholic who saw Elizabeth as a threat. Elizabeth was accused of treason and imprisoned in the Tower of London, the same place where her mother had died. She was only 20. As she entered the tower, Elizabeth whispered a prayer, believing she might never leave alive. For months she lived under constant fear, unsure whether each day would be her last. She learned then how fragile power truly was. And how strong patience could be. From prisoner to queen. Mary I died childless in 1558. Against all odds, Elizabeth Tudor became Queen of England at the age of 25. She rode through London surrounded by cheering crowds, no longer a forgotten girl, no longer a prisoner, but a ruler. Yet she knew the crown was heavy with danger. England was divided by religion, threatened by foreign powers, and plagued by rebellion. Elizabeth ruled differently. She chose careful compromise over cruelty, intelligence over force. She restored Protestantism but avoided extreme persecution. She surrounded herself with capable advisors but trusted her own judgment above all. And she made one decision that defined her legend. She would never marry. The Virgin Queen. In a world where a woman was expected to rule through a husband, Elizabeth ruled alone. Marriage proposals came from kings, princes, and emperors across Europe, but she refused them all. Some say she feared losing power. Others believe she had seen too many dangerous marriages in her family. Elizabeth declared herself married to England. Her image became her armor. She dressed in dazzling gowns, covered in pearls and symbols of purity and strength. She controlled how the world saw her, and in doing so, controlled power itself. Glory, war, and immortality. Elizabeth's reign became known as a golden age. England defeated the mighty Spanish Armada in 1588, against impossible odds. Literature flourished. William Shakespeare wrote his greatest works under her rule. Exploration expanded England's influence across the seas. She ruled for 45 years, longer than most expected, longer than many believed possible. When Elizabeth I died in 1603, she left no children, but she left a legacy. She had survived execution, imprisonment, betrayal, and war. She had transformed herself from an unwanted daughter into one of the most powerful rulers in English history. The girl who refused to be forgotten. Elizabeth Tudor was never meant to be queen. She was born a disappointment. Declared illegitimate. Imprisoned as a traitor. And yet, she became Elizabeth the Great. Her story is not just about crowns and kingdoms. It is about survival. About intelligence. About knowing when to speak, and when to wait. And above all, it is the story of a woman who learned that power is not given. It is taken. And held. And never surrendered.